Yes, we'll start the class. Welcome everyone. Om Sadashiva-Samarambham Shankaracharya-Madhyamam Asmadacharya-Paryantam Vande Guru-Paramparam. Shruti-Smriti-Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat-Pada Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra-Bhashya-Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha. Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Yes. So, would someone like to chant 18 and 19 first? Maithliji, would you like to do today?
Yes, definitely. Which one? One second. Yes, definitely.
18 and 19.
Can you just start that?
Suramandira-tarumula-nivasah
Suramandira-tarumula-nivasah Shayyaः Bhutala-Madinam Vasah Sarva-Parigraha-Bhogasya Kasya Sukham na karoti viragah Yogarato va bhogarato va Sangarato va sangarihina Yasya brahmani damate chittam Nandati nandati nandatyeva.
Good. Thank you. Anyone wants to try 20th verse after me?
I try.
Ji. Okay. Bhagavad Gita Kinchidadhita
Bhagavad Gita Kinjit Adhita
Ganga Jalalava Pita
Ganga Jaladava Kanika Pita
Sakrudapiyena Murari Samarja
Sakrudapiyena Murari Samarcha
Kriyate Tasya Yamena Na Charcha
Jiyate Tasya Yamena Na Charcha
Bhagavad Gita Kinchidadhita Ganga Jalalava Pita
भगवद्गीता किञ्चिदधीता गङ्गाजलनवकणिका पीता
सकृदपि येन मुरारिसमर्चा क्रियते तस्य यमेन न चर्चा।
सकृदपि येन मुरारिसमर्चा क्रियते तस्य यमेन न चर्चा।
भगवद्गीता किञ्चिदधीता गङ्गाजललवकणिका पीता सकृदपि येन मुरारिसमर्चा क्रियते तस्य यमेन न चर्चा।
भगवद्गीता किञ्चिदधीता गङ्गाजलनवकणिका पीता सकृदपि येन मुरारिसमर्चा क्रियते तस्य यमेन न चर्चा।
Next verse also. पुनरपि जननं पुनरपि मरणं
पुनरपि जननं पुनरपि मरणं
पुनरपि जननी जठरे शयनं
पुनरपि जननी जठरे शयनम्
इह संसारे बहुदुस्तारे
इह संसारे बहुदुस्तारे
कृपया पारे पाहि मुरारे।
कृपया पारे पाहि मुरारे।
पुनरपि जननं पुनरपि मरणं पुनरपि जननी जठरे शयनम्
पुनरपि जननं पुनरपि मरणं पुनरपि जननी जठरे शयनम्
इह संसारे बहुदुस्तारे कृपया पारे पाहि मुरारे।
इह संसारे बहुदुस्तारे कृपया पारे पाहि मुरारे।
पुनरपि जननं पुनरपि मरणं पुनरपि जननी जठरे शयनम् इह संसारे बहुदुस्तारे कृपया पारे पाहि मुरारे।
पुनरपि जननं पुनरपि मरणं पुनरपि जननी जठरे शयनम् इह संसारे बहुदुस्तारे कृपया पारे पाहि मुरारे।
Yes, thank you. Sorry, we have to do, yeah. Okay. 22nd verse, someone can follow? 22 and 23.
Diptiji, may I do it with you?
Yeah. रथ्या रथ्याचरपटविरचितकण्ठः
रथ्याचरपटविरचितकण्ठः
पुण्या पुण्यविवर्जितपन्थः
पुण्या पुण्यविवर्जितपन्थः
योगी योगनियोजितचित्तो
योगी योगनियोजितचित्तो
रमते बालोन्मत्तवदेव
रमते बालो मत्तव देव
रथ्याचरपटविरचितकण्ठः पुण्या पुण्यविवर्जितपन्थः
रथ्याचरपटविरचितकण्ठः पुण्या पुण्या विवर्जितपन्थः
योगी योगनियोजितचित्तो रमते बालोन्मत्तवदेव
योगी योगनियोजितचित्तो रमते बालो मतव रमते बालो
बालोन्मत्तवदेव
रमते बालो मत्तव देव
बालोन्मत्तवदेव
रमते बालो मत्तव देव
Good. रथ्याचरपटविरचितकण्ठः पुण्या पुण्यविवर्जितपन्थः
रथ्याचरपटविरचितकण्ठः पुण्या
योगी योगनियोजितचित्तो रमते बालो मत्तवदेव
योगी योग नियोजित चित्तो रमते बालो मत्तव देव
बालोन्मत्तवदेव
रमते बालोन्मत्तव देव
रथ्याचरपटविरचितकण्ठः पुण्या पुण्यविवर्जितपन्थः योगी योगनियोजितचित्तो रमते बालोन्मत्तवदेव
रथ्याचर पट विरचित कंठः पुण्या पुण्य विवर्जित पंथः योगी योग नियोजित चित्तो रमते बालोन्मत्तव देव
Good. Yeah. Next one. कस्त्वं कोऽहं कुत आयातः
कस्त्वं कोऽहं कुत आयातः
कामे जननी को मे तातः
कामे जननी को मे तातः
इति परिभावय सर्वमसारम्
इति परिभाव्य सर्वमसारम्
भावय
भावय इति परिभावय सर्वमसारम्
विश्वं त्यक्त्वा स्वप्नविचारम्
विश्वं त्यक्त्वा स्वप्नविचारम्
कस्त्वं कोऽहं कुत आयातः कामे जननी को मे तातः
कस्त्वं कोऽहं कुत आयातः कामे जननी को मे तातः
इति परिभावय सर्वमसारं विश्वं त्यक्त्वा स्वप्नविचारम्
इति परिभावय सर्वमसारम् विश्वं त्यक्त्वा स्वप्नविचारम्
कस्त्वं कोऽहं कुत आयातः कामे जननी को मे तातः इति परिभावय सर्वमसारं विश्वं त्यक्त्वा स्वप्नविचारम्
कस्त्वं कोऽहं कुत आयातः कामे जननी को मे तातः इति परिभावय सर्वमसारम् विश्वं त्यक्त्वा स्वप्नविचारम्
Very good. Thank you, everyone. So we concluded 21st verse last time. Bhaj Govindam is reminding us of some hard facts of life, which are principles, permanent principles actually. These are also perceptions of the wise people, rishis in our context, or reflective people who reflect on life through observation and through adhyanam, shastra adhyanam. They are able to pick up these principles which govern the subtle aspects of life. What do we mean by subtle aspects? What do we mean by gross aspects first? What are gross aspects? Gross aspects are something that we are interacting with our senses every day. Like for our eyes, color and form, ears, sound, etc. All this play of the senses with the sense objects is all gross. But within our thoughts, within our mind, there is a lot of unknownness about where do our thoughts come from, why do I think in a particular way, what is the reason why I act in a particular way, why am I inclined towards certain things and not toward a lot of these things that confuse in everyday life with reference to what should I do and what should I not do, all these choices. Those conclusively, certain principles, if we are told, which are applicable in life and are responsible for the subtle state of our own being, the state of our mind. If I know certain principles, I'm ready for them, I'm prepared for them, or I adapt to them, I follow them, anything I can do. Those principles, at least in life, when I apply them, I see them, I am that much more protected. I'm that much more in charge of my own life because I'm ready for the changes or for these affectations that are normally going to be there if I do not know them also. So they will happen. But if I know them beforehand, I'm ready to face certain situations and constantly showing us the end pursuit of life. What is the final pursuit of life? By constantly drawing our attention to that, I can apply these principles through life, moving towards that absolute point, and also I can go on reflecting on these till I start seeing them myself, which makes me also closer to being a wise person as the one who would have seen this, who would have who has said, say here, dhrida bhakta. Dhrida bhakti um, is the student. If he has said that punarapi jananam punarapi maranam punarapi janani jathire shayanam, it's a perception gained from knowledge, from adhyanam, from satsangs, from masters, and from personal reflection. That seeing that one is constantly in a mode of repetition, again and again experiences which boil down to sukh and dukh, and both remaining as much as both remaining temporary, both remaining anitya. The only recourse is, here we understand, Shastra would say, the student here says that the cycle seems continuous and endless. Like we saw, yes, uh, throughout the cycle of creation, there is no respite for a jiva. Helplessly, we are born, who our parents are, who puts us in that womb, how are we placed in that set of people or that time or that era, etc. And once the end is there, where am I? In what state am I? How fulfilled or unfulfilled is my state of mind? How much desires are left to be, or how much disturbance I hold in my antakaranam. And when we say antakaranam, from the English tangible words, unconscious, subconscious minds, how much am I holding on? How much is it disturbing me? So the student here says, praise to Ishvara, praise to Krishna, praise to Murari, praise to his Ishta Devta. And what does he say? By your grace, Kripaya, apare, the samsara being apart from one standpoint, but as I said yesterday, I'd rather say apara kripa of yours. Pahi, you protect me, O Murari. This cycle is too much, too long, and too complex for my Purusharth to cross over. This samsara is too complex for my Purusharth to cross over. I have very finite capacity, very finite, limited resources. I'm extremely bound, I feel. And even though I'm able to do a few things, One thing for sure I can do. And what is that? Bhaja Govindam, Bhaj Govindam. How much can I do to cross the samsara? I do not know. I need your protection. But what can I do? I can keep my mind away from dukre karne. I can withdraw my mind from non essential pursuits and involvements. Keep that mind engaged in Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, or in any of the yoga aspects, Karam Yoga, Upasana Yoga, whatever my spiritual sadhanas are. That I know for sure is also a way of bringing kripa, earning the kripa. This is one very important aspect that people forget. It's easy to pray, very easy to pray, but it is the principle on which that prayer gets answered is kripa is answered, as kripa flows when dependent on how well that action has been, how well has one prayed, how well has one um, done what ought to happen, what is the tapas behind what I should be doing. Once, in other words, kripa is to be earned. And just as when we work for someone, you hear it. If you're working for someone, you're on a salary, or if you give salary to someone, and if someone is lax, what do you tell them? एक आध बार आप दे दोगे, 3-4 times if the person continue, what do you tell them? Bacha, beta, or whoever, you have to earn your living. You have to work to earn your living, which means you have to earn your kripa. It's the same thing. How do you earn the kripa? Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam. In whichever way one is able to pursue the higher, that earns the kripa. O Murari, save me from this cycle. Grace, anugraha. Keep me in anugraha. And next verse now he says, another verse that is started, Rathya Charapata Virachita Panthaha. Rathya Charapata. Charapata is rags, thrown away, used cloth, discarded. When you wear something and it's torn or it's faded or it's of no longer use to you, you discard it. Rathya, on the streets, जहां रथ चलता है, रथ्या, रस्ते पे, on roads. Rathya Charapatta, rags, discarded clothes, even pieces of cloth, he's saying now, found on the street. Virachita Kanthaha, he's done, tied, stitched them together. You have kantha work. I think it's called kantha only. Is that a work? Stitched pieces of cloth stitched.
Yes.
Yes.
Kantha, kantha. So kantha is when you have a lot of pieces left and you stitch them together, and you use it. It's actually you make a new piece of cloth by stitching together remnants of different colors, whatever it may be, but you just bring them together without throwing them. You create a new piece of wearable something. Virachita Kanthaha. So rags that have been found, pieces of cloth found on the roads, he patches them together. What is the idea? He is involved. He has no possessions. Such a who's living a life of free from all accumulation, insecurity based collection, springing from insecurity. He has freed himself from the need to hoard things, to collect and to hoard. He is a yogi who's completely, in a way, like an so detached from his own sense of body that he is not working towards owning things. So, what happens? He lives as per the day. He lives, next verses also be in alignment to this. He lives as per the day. He goes where he thinks is right for him to go. He lives without possessions. And whatever he finds on the way, he uses it for his needs, whatever is his needs. So that first one is just an example. Rathya Charapata Virachita Kantaha means he has, for all of us, it's like, what are we talking? How are we to live like that? Which means, is it even possible? It means simplifying the life, bringing our needs to whatever our grade of minimum is, bringing our dependency on our needs to whatever is the minimum level. That is to each one to decide whether it is a wardrobe full of things or a few sets, each one their own, but it's nothing to do just with clothes. Lifestyle, it's adapting a lifestyle, it's turning a uh, lifestyle means it's turning the way you choose to live. So rather than spending time again and again into impermanent aspects, this person has decided whatever he gets, he wears, supposing. For many years, much before this came, this was one of the sankalpas I would live with. Not bother to ever buy clothes. Whatever comes your way, wear it. And trust, this was purely, and honestly, this is I'm saying is much before Vedanta came into life also, as a growing girl. Because the sankalpa had to be strong at that time. What? I don't want to waste my time into things that Bhagwan can provide. Yoga Kshema is his responsibility. He has to provide food, shelter, clothes, whatever I need, he has to provide. And absolutely, even in college, I have gone to college without ever throwing my interest into what clothes, what color, what I like, what I do. And I honestly got the best things. Even it's like, you were amazed that if I probably would have gone, I would have not got it. My relatives from abroad would bring it, or something like this, the best pleated skirts and whatever wasn't, they just came. Whatever I needed was there. For many years, it was so fascinating. When you grow older and people say, what do you like? Blah, blah, that's the time when you start wondering, my God, people think I'm crazy. But when you read this verse, you really get so consolidated that these simple disciplines in life is a way to see how Anugraha functions. We do not know how Anugraha expresses itself because we are chasing our desires. We have kept our life interest only in wanting things, but things that actually only pertain to survival. And what pertains to survival is what is just food, shelter, clothing, and a little more. This much though Bhagwan can give, no? When you are deciding to walk on the path that Bhagwan shows. Bhaj Govindam, if I have decided to do, live a life, engage my life for Bhaj Govindam, then that's his job, his responsibility. It is his promise. He has to fulfill. If he doesn't fulfill that promise, then Am I at loss? Am I making sense? If he doesn't fulfill his promise, he promises Yogakshema. What is Yogakshema? Your needs, possessions, acquisitions, and its preservation. Whatever is required, what you don't have, getting that. That in Yogakshema, the word yoga means whatever you don't, apraptasya vastu praptihi. What I don't have, gaining that. And whatever I have gained, whatever is praptavyam, I have gained it, praptihi, rakshanam, protecting that, preserving that. It requires effort, it requires mental engagement. Krishna says in the Gita, if you follow the path of the yoga, I'll take care of your yogakshema. He tells Arjuna and he tells all the devotees. If you walk on the spiritual path, if you walk on the path towards me, all the requirements I take. Now, who is this person? Rathya Charapata Virachita Kanthaha. This is a symbolic, this is just a representator, not a symbolic, it's a representator. Many people on this in life over generations. Every generation has a few set of people who are courageous enough and who say, okay, let us test Bhagwan's promise. Test is in the sense he's promised, he's bound to fulfill. If he doesn't fulfill, it's not my loss. Is it my loss? It's not my loss. He fell from his promise. That's his problem, not my problem. It's up to him to hold his promise, not up to me to wonder whether he will fulfill the promise or not. You see the difference of the. Where does our Shraddha break? Our Shraddha breaks when we start doubting whether what he said, he really means it. When he says this. So, Rathya Charapata Virachita Kanthaha means he simplified his life. One of the ways is content, whatever comes my way. A lot of verses will also say that remain content with what you earn. Here also he said that with whatever your efforts have brought you, remain content within that. That means you will ease your mental involvements to pursue something else. Then what? Second, punya vivarjita panthaha. He's free of punya and apunya, papam. Vivarjita. He's rid of it. Walking on the path which gives punya and papam, which means path of dharma. He's freed himself from walking in the realms of karma, in other words. Dharma is punya, पाप, कर्म फल. अच्छे कर्मों में हम अपनी जिंदगी बिताते हैं. Let me accumulate good karmas, because after this life, what will help me? In fact, most of the people are only praying to Bhagwan for what sake? Why do we pray to Bhagwan?
Wishes to get any wish fulfilled.
Get our wishes fulfilled and get our wishes, sansari cheezein, which is wishes fulfilled. Correct. That is wishes fulfilled. And
Peace.
okay, peace, that's good. That's right also. And I must take that.
To keep us on this good path.
Very good. That is very good. But most of the people, when we are most of the people, when they worship, when they pray to Bhagwan, they are praying, as we just said, Kripaya Pare. To earn that grace means let me do good work. Let me do punyam. Let me earn punyam. Why am I doing good work? To earn good merit. When I am only doing what I'm supposed to do, kripa falls. When I'm doing the higher, seeking the higher, kripa is earned. But when I'm seeking kripa, you see the difference? When I seek kripa itself,
It eludes you.
it eludes you. So here he says, freed of the realm of karma, which means he is coming into the path of mananam, shravanam, and adhyanam. Know yourself, jnana yoga. He's on the path of jnana. He's freed himself from the entanglements of, if I do this, I'll earn bad karma. If I get bad karma, I will. Where is the focus on? I will get bad karma. I will, I'll suffer in the future. In all of this, the thought is I. So this person freed of it. He is a yogi. Such a yogi. Yoga niyojita chittaha. His mind is dedicated to his yoga. Ramate balon balaha unmatvat eva. Unmatavat eva. Balaha unmatavat. Balaha, like a child. Unmat, like a madman. Vat means like. Balaha unmat. Vat. Eva. He is revels like a child, like a madman. What does it mean? It means his mind has got freed of all the cogs and the cobwebs. What is our mind full of? Desires, likes and dislikes, ahankar, frustrations, unfulfilled desires, hopes, expectations, wants, etc., etc. So there is a burden. We have tied ourselves, chained ourselves. What has he done? He has kept his life freed of all these entanglements, lives simple life, as simple as possible, thinks high, and keeps his mind dedicated, lives for that dedication, and he becomes like a child. Balavat. What is Balavat? What is the uniqueness of a child? The uniqueness of a child is they're ever in the present. Always. Even if they have ragadvesh, even if they are hurt, even if they cry, but they're so in the moment. That's why the minute you distract them, they get distracted. So a crying child, you can make them laugh instantly, and a laughing child, you can make them cry instantly. Why? Always in the moment. But as we keep growing older, what happens to our mind space? Like Gulliver's Travel. I love that story. Gulliver's Travel. All our mind space, small things we have tied ourselves down to. Nailed ourselves with thousands of these strings. And what are they? Those Lilliputians have huge Gulliver. And those Lilliputians were adequate enough to tie him down. Thousands of them. That's the state of our mind. I want this, I don't like this, I have this, I don't. All those thoughts that engage keep us tied down. In his case, he has lived a life of yoga. Living a life of yoga means it is a constant sadhana, it is a constant effort. It is seems so easy here to say like a child. But how did he arrive at that where his mind is now like a child? Ever in the present, gurgling with enthusiasm, infectiously. You'll hardly find any child not adorable. Hardly ever. I don't think it's possible, maybe. Every child looks so endearing. ऐसा क्या है in that upadhi of a child that every child is endearing, and wahi child Do I need to complete the sentence? When that child grows up, ऐसा क्या है उस उपाधि में that becomes an object of dislike, etc. How is it possible for this endearing, sweet, cute, or whatever words you want to use it? This, even as I say that, you can hear the laughter of children, all that. So joyful. And in their presence, even you cannot get bored in their presence. Even, and that's one of the lakshanas of a child and of a yogi. In their presence, you also feel uplifted. In their presence, you also feel as if it's approachable. You also feel in their presence that yes, it's tangible. Yes, even I can do it. It becomes like a possible possibility. A child transfers it to an adult. Why, after some time, therefore, when your children grow up, after some time, then you look forward to the grandchildren. And when grandchildren grow up, that's where you start seeing reality of life strikes home, because now children are no longer children. उनकी अपनी मर्जी चलने लगी है. That cuteness stage is gone. Bala Upadhi has gone. And now is coming that Yauvana teenage Upadhi, where, oh, complete contrast of that child. That Balon, Balaha Avastha means he revels in his own. Chitta is dedicated to his mind, to his yoga, and as a result of which, his mind is freed of the cobweb. So, what is he? He is always in the present. And he's infectious enough to infect others. With what? With his enthusiasm, with his positivity, with his all those things, he, as if it gets transferred. That's a child. And like a unmatavat, like a unmat, like a madman. Who's a madman? Who do we call a madman? Shastra says a madman is usually one जो अपनी दुनिया में रहता है. When he'll be talking to you, but he'll be thinking something else. He'll be sitting with you, but he's lost in his world. He's thinking, his mind is aloft in something else. So when you can't reach his level of his thinking, when his level of thinking, if he starts from and you are not able to reach that point, you call him mad. That he's like a madman. All that it means to say is his thinking is not vyavharically calculative. He's not calculating the way we calculate. All that, his mind has its own calculation, which average all of us find it difficult to reach. So, Rathya Charapata Virachita Kantaha, patched together, wearing clothes found on the streets, patched together. Punya Punya Vivarjita Panthaha, he's freed himself from the realms of bringing karma and avoiding pain, papam. He, of course, doesn't do that, papam, but mind is not into realms of karma. Such a yogi whose mind is dedicated to his own yoga, he becomes like a child, like a madman, and somewhere else it is also said like a pishachavat. Pishach means like a ghost. He looks like he appears like a ghost, means he is ununderstood mostly. His presence is infectious, but yet he attracts, and yet he's left not understood. So, such a one is dedicated actually to yoga, to his Bhaj Govindam. He is dedicated. Now, in the next verse, he says, Kastvam koham. Another student. Kahatvam. Kastvam is kahatvam. Who are you? Ko aham. Who am I? Kuta ayataha. From where have I come? We come. Kuta ayatah. From where has all this come? Ka me janani. Who is my mother? Ko me tatah. Who is my father? Iti, in this manner. Paribhavaya, inquire, think. And that paribhavaya is actually in the sense of another, tiraskar, which in the previous verse we have seen as pratipaksha bhav. Think in terms of reflecting. Who are you? Who am I? Means what appears to be on surface, let's go beyond that. From where have we come? We go blank on this question. Where have I come from? We don't know. Inquire. Ramana says here, simply inquire on where has your sense of ego come. I, where has it come from? When you are able to find that source, that place, that sthan, where are these thoughts emerging and going? If your focus shifts to that, then all these questions become redundant. These questions are supposed to bring you to identify the source, that consciousness, that sthan from where these thoughts emerge, where they are seen, where they are known. That consciousness, what is its nature? Kame Janani, who is my mother? A reflection that is linked to what? Which is the previous verse. Kame Janani. Which previous verse you can link it to?
Kate kanta kaste putra.
Very good. That also excellent. Yes. One more. Verse 8. Which is verse 8? Kate kanta kaste putra. Okay. Same verse. Anything else? Kame Janani. It is Kate kanta kaste putra, but Kame Janani with reference to Janani and Tataha. What is a reflection you can stretch? What is the previous verse? Janani, your mother.
The one we just did.
Which one? Janani Jathare Shayanam. Correct. Janani Jathare Shayanam. Lying in mother's womb. In this life, the womb that has brought you is your mother in the world. Who is my mother? Is every life that I've lived, there is a mother in every life. Without it, I can't be born. My mother and my father. Who is my mother and who is my father? In that sense, question your involvement, extra or attachments with reference to relations. Same verse like you have all mentioned very well. 8th verse. Kate kanta kaste putraha samsaro yamativa vichitraha. Kasya tvam kaha kuta ayataha. That much. So, what is this paribhavaya? Means Think about this with an idea that you are able to develop a certain objectivity. I know a lot of people will not be able to appreciate this, but you can have very healthy relations with objectivity. Why is it required? Because most of us are most attached to our parents. Why? Because they are the givers for us. they उनकी दुनिया के हम तारे हैं. मतलब उन, what is that, have I said it correctly? उनकी दुनिया के हम तारे हैं, whatever means. For them we are everything to them. So the care, the love, the everything's showered on us. Their self-sacrifice, their everything is centered on us. So what happens to us? If someone goes on thinking of your welfare and keeps giving to you, what will happen to you?
You're obviously more attached
You're
and
much more attached and you start
emotional.
exactly emotionally. You just look upon that as a role model of all relations. All relations should stand up to that point, whereby it is almost like that sense of attachment, that sense of fulfillment that comes from them is so high that the preparedness of the relation being limited and anitya is not there. When did my mother become my mother? I say this very often. When does a mother become a mother?
She gives birth.
When she gives birth. Who is she before?
A woman.
She's a woman, she's an entity in her own sense. She was complete before I came into the world, before I came into her womb. She was complete. Once I leave her shelter, I have my own world, I have my own dunya. What is her life?
It's still centered around me.
She's still, for her, but she's still a person. It's the other way around also. When you get attached to children, your children, what are you supposed to reflect? Are they your children? That's where we said in Kaste Putraha, Kahate Putraha. Are they really your children? Or have they come through you? That through you is easy to still reflect. But that my parents are independent entities by themselves. They have the same happiness seeking, they have everything. They may have centered it on me, which is a very high state of giving. Mm. So if I reflect on these things, I know A, that this relation is when I was born, the relation started. But is it an absolute relation? Who gives life to my mother, to my father? Where is their sense of ego? Where is their sense of individuality coming from? Am I making sense? No?
So one realization is that Ditiji, when you consider it as a duty, then objectivity sets in.
Yes. That's what he's saying here. Think about it, that who are they means develop a certain distance and objectivity so that you see a fact as a fact. And what is a fact? Birth of the body and death of the body are facts. Are we ready for it? Over long years, every time this question comes up in our minds, our degree of our attachment, we really are not prepared to see. We are still taken by surprise, and shock and grief takes us over at the loss of a parent. Why is that grief uncontrolled or unmanageable? Grief is not wrong, but it just points to the fact that I was unprepared for a loss. So he says here, think, reflect on it enough, so that you are ready, doing your duties, enjoying the relation. Absolute fulfillment should be there in the relation. But the fact can't change that it's not eternal. No relation is eternal. Once I understand no relation is eternal, what is my attitude? You're mute.
The tendency to become unattached becomes, but that's not correct. I mean, you still have to do the right thing and duty.
Right? So, once you know this is not eternal, what do?
You revel in the present.
Exactly. You enjoy thoroughly the relation as long as it's there. You make sure that this relation gets only better and better. What destroys a relation?
Attachment.
Attachments destroy expectation. We all know that. I manage a relation so well only because I know, means we are talking, I'm not talking of I as I, means through the knowledge we understand that we manage our relations so well, we want to make the best relation because it is impermanent. It has to, every day has to be a special day as long as the relation is there. For this relation is not permanent, it will have an expiry date. And when that expiry date comes, I should have been prepared, done what I ought to have done, lived as well as I could with the person, etc., so that the mind is not completely lost in that. Paribhavaya. That Tiraskar word only means bring yourself out of the realm of only doing duty because it's a parent. They're human beings, and that is a far greater thing than saying they are my parents. Sarvam asaram. Vishwam. This whole world is asar. Asar means it's pitless, it's substanceless, it is sarless, essenceless. There is no substance here in the world. Give it up. Giving it up, tyaktva. How? Thinking that this is all swapna, like a dream world. What happens in a dream world? I have a lot of desires to fulfill in a dream world. I won a Nobel Prize in a dream world. I had a dream yesterday night and I had a full dream. I saw, and in fact, I did. I saw my friend and her whole family, and they had built something. It was very nice, and on their house, they had built something. Husband had put in a lot of. She has 3 children. Husband had put in a lot of things, and we'd gone and visiting them. They stay in states, so it was all very beautiful dream. When I woke up, what happened? I had to just send a message to say I saw you. I had a dream. I had a dream. This world, waking world, is like a dream. It folds away every night. It comes back every day, folds back every night. Therefore, it is not permanently there. It looks to us because we are waking up on the same bed, etc. Our things are not changing the way they change in the dream. But substance wise, they're only different in degrees, not in kind. Dream world and waking world is only different in degree, not in kind. What do we mean by kind? We mean they're absolutely different. It's not so. हमको लगता है dream and waking are completely different. Dream is nothing. Dream we can discard, we can reject, we don't pay much value to it, we don't have much emphasis on dream as real. So if I have lost something in my dream, I'm not I'm not suffering. So if I've lost a Nobel Prize in my dream, I was just about to get a Nobel Prize, but I woke up. My mother said, "Get up, time to go to school." And then suddenly I woke up, oh, and I'm crying, I lost my Nobel Prize. I don't do that. If my house is burning in my dream, I'm not crying, oh, my house burned in my dream, because it's a dream. I mean, it's stupid. It's mad to think also that there was some reality there. The point of the rishis and the point of the wise people who are anchored in Atma Vidya, they say that the suffering that you have in the waking is equivalent to that you would have had for a dream suffering when you wake up. It's as absurd as that. But for us, it's a matter of arrival through reflection. What is their point? They say it is as absurd to suffer in the waking world or to rejoice in the waking world. On gaining something, if you are rejoicing as if, oh, I have won a lottery in the waking world, it is as absurd as saying I have won a lottery in the dream world. But our sense of reality around the waking is so strong that we are not able to accept it. So here he says, think of it, reflect of it, that this waking world that I pay so much attention to, as if it's an end in itself, my suffering as if I am really suffering, my rejoicing as if I have really got something. You are not getting something here permanently. You are not losing anything here permanently. These are all comings and goings. They'll keep happening. कुछ मिलेगा कुछ जाएगा, कुछ आएगा कुछ खोएगा, कुछ पाया है तो कुछ जाएगा, कुछ मिला है तो कुछ छूटेगा, कोई आया है तो बिछड़ेगा. That is what is the flow of life. Accept it and live fully so that you can also engage yourself in doing what you ought to be doing. And once you've mastered that technique, who are you? What will you become if you master this technique? What is this technique? What? It's not a technique, it's just established in that thinking and living a life. Who are you?
Yogi.
You become a yogi. Very good. Excellent. You are now a yogi. And as a yogi, why can't you live? Why should you live like a bhogi? A bhogi is a samsari. Yogi is mukt, even relatively. So Shastra is showing us the way of living so that we are freed. Okay? We'll conclude here. Thank you. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amratam Gamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om, everyone.
Recording stopped.
धन्यवाद.
Dhanyavad. Thank you, everyone.
धन्यवाद दीप्ति जी.
धन्यवाद जी.
क्वेश्चन
Yes, please.
दीप्ति जी को आपने स्टार्टिंग के क्लासेस में बताया था कि